What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today, this video may be a little bit controversial, but I'm not going to take this video too seriously. It's a little bit of fun. I'm going to be grading the home kits of every championship club this season. Every championship club apart from Bristol City, god damn it Bristol City, have released their home kit. But what I'm going to do with Bristol City, I'll reveal their away kit so we can cover every single club's new kit in this video. I am not a fashion expert if you see all my attire for all my videos, and just today I just realised I dress up as Dobby the house elf on this video, and that was not intentional. So please don't take this video too seriously. In the past couple of videos I said if you sent a screenshot of me subscribing or sharing my channel, you'll get a shout out. I've gained a couple of subscribers in a couple of days, but thank you Ruben Ward on Twitter. You sent me a screenshot of you sharing my channel on Instagram. Honestly, it's a dream come true that I've even seen that. But I said the reward is getting your name shouted out, but I thought about it more and about how honoured I am. I think I'll increase the reward even more. Right, I'm just going to my most recent video, and I believe this is the guy who sent me the screenshot. Yep. Looks like he has a championship channel as well, 112 subscribers. Make that 113 with notifications on. And just before I go, let me refresh just to make sure. There we go, 113 subscribers. Just imagine if 229 of you all did that. That is how I'll get 1,000 subscribers. Everyone please get involved in sharing the channel, which could be your social media or another championship YouTuber or just any other YouTuber or viewers that may be interested in my content. But if you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. If you're new around here, my name is Alex. I do championship football and football videos on the go. It's also my birthday tomorrow, so it would also be nice if you could give me a subscription as soon as you can. And if you mind, I'm not going to be uploading tomorrow because it is my birthday, so I am not going to be uploading. I'm going to take Tuesday off as a bit of a break. So I hope you guys appreciate my decision on this, but always hit a like on this video. It's also tremendously appreciated as well. But without any further ado, let's grade these home kits. Right, so I'm going to grade these home kits from 1 out of 10. We'll start off with Bournemouth's kit, and I tell you what, I really love it. I definitely like it better than their home kit they had in the Premier League. This is definitely a lot more minimalistic, but I definitely love it. If you see carefully, the main gimmick in this kit is the grading in between the black and the red stripes. I absolutely love it. The different tones of black as well, and how it just blends and just gradually turns into the other colour of the kit. I absolutely love it. Umbro have made it, and Umbro are renowned of making fantastic championship kits or just football kits in general. Sponsors could definitely make or break a shirt, and I believe Vitality actually fits in quite well with the blending affair. I don't know why, because when you look at it, you know, it looks like it shouldn't fit, but for some reason, because of the blending, it does. I think the badge is fitted in very well, and because it's blended, it doesn't mean that the badge is completely cutting off the pattern between vertical lines, which really gets me sometimes. So looking at this kit, pretty solid. I would say probably one of the best kits, 9 out of 10 for me. Now to Barnsley's kit, Puma have made this kit. It's a little bit simple, but I actually think it is simple but effective. The sponsor they put in there, I think fits in very well. I do like the white stripes they had on the side of the shirt as well. They've got a bit of a white collar, right lines across the shoulder line, and they've also got white tips at the ends of the shoulders. I have to say, looks very neat. Could be a little bit more enhanced. I think if they added a bit more of a pattern work in terms of a shirt to make it more unique, then I would say it would definitely be one of the better shirts. But for this one, I'll give it a 7 out of 10, pretty solid. We now go to Birmingham's shirt, and this shirt has definitely split opinions. Some people love it, some people hate it. And you know what, I looked at this at first and I thought it was a little bit bland. But actually, when you take a closer look to see what Nike have done, I'm actually quite a big fan of this kit. A lot of people don't like the white collar, but for me, I actually don't mind a collar on the kit unless the colour blends in with the shirt. I also like the sponsor. I think it fits in well, and if you look at the pattern work, there's a bit of diagonal work going on, which makes it a little bit more unique. It's not very easy to see, so it's something that you may not see in the distance, but close up it looks a little bit better. I like how they fit in badge as well, and the white sleeves as well. I actually really like that as well. I'm actually quite a big fan of this one. I'll give that one a 7.5 out of 10. Then we go to Blackburn's kit, a kit that was released very recently, and I'm sad to say, but I just don't like this kit. I don't like the sponsor that they have in between it. It's a bit bland where you've got one blue half and one white half to begin with, but the fact that the sponsor completely cuts both of the lines, it looks really out of place for me. I do like how they've got the Umbro badge, and I do like how they've got the Blackburn badge as well. The red tips is alright, I guess. The collar is a bit hit and miss for me, but it's the front side and the sponsor especially that I think lets it down for me. Could have been great, but it looks a bit bland for me, and the sponsor I think just makes it look even worse. So 5 out of 10 for me. I'm not a big fan of that one, unfortunately. Now we go to Brentford's home kit, another Umbro kit, and I do have to say, not one of my favourites, but I would say it's definitely not bad. I do like the red and white stripes. I think they look really clean on the shirt. The way that the badge fits in it perfectly on the white stripe, I think also makes it look really nice as well. The Umbro badges also fit on a white stripe. I like how they actually got the black stripes in the neckline a little bit, but they cut off a little bit. It does add a little bit of a unique trait with the collar, but I think the one thing that really lets them down is their sponsor Utilita. For me, yes, the colour scheme looks alright on it, but when you have vertical lines going down, a bunch of big letters is just going to ruin the whole flow of it for me. I like how they fit the house in the stripe actually, so they have a bit of redemption there. But overall, not great, but not one of the worst ones. I'll say a decent 7 out of 10. So now we go to Bristol City, and unfortunately, they've not got their home kit, so I'll grade their away kit. And if I'm going to be honest, I am a big fan of this kit. About the colour scheme, it's very modern, very neon type of colours. Looks to me a little bit like the Incredible Hulk for some weird reason to me when I look at this, but the green and purple I think works quite well. The Manchester Bet sponsor I actually think fits in pretty well. It's a Hummel kit. It's the first one of the Hummel kits in this whole entire list. Actually a big fan of this one. I like how the badge is fitted in within the patterns. The only thing I'm not too sure about the stripes, the green stripes on the sleeve line. It looks a little bit bizarre for me and looks a little bit too much going on. But the pattern work on the shirt, I'm a big fan. One of my favourite patterns that I've seen in a football shirt. I'm going to say pretty good 8 out of 10. Quite a big fan of that one. In fact, the kit I probably should have graded is Bristol City's home goalkeeper kit. Now, obviously, when you look at this, it's a direct copy of Peter Schmeichel's Danish goalkeeping shirt back in the day in the 90s. Obviously, the shirt back then, I would have given it an 8 out of 10 for its unique trait. But now, for blatant copyright, I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. I'll probably sound very harsh, but the fact it's a direct copyright from a really iconic shirt, I can't give it more than a 2, it's copyright. So now we have Cardiff's home kit, a kit that's been released very recently in the past couple of days, and I won't lie, I'm not a huge fan of it. Adidas disappointing me quite a little bit. For things I do like, I actually do like the white collar line that they have. I think it looks really nice. The 2 white stripes as well, classic from Adidas to apply that. They've got the white tips in terms of their sleeve lines as well, which I also think they quite like. The thing that ruins it for me is their pattern work. I'm not a big fan of their dark blue stripes with their light blue stripes. It looks like a toddler has just randomly drawn lines and say, do the dark lines there. It looks very out of place and not very equal at all. It may sound a bit OCD for me to say that, but it just doesn't, I don't know what they were going for. And with the sponsor as well, it does kind of clash into it a bit because the lines are so uneven anyway, and they're not evenly spaced out, which is my biggest pet peeve with that one. I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10. I'm a bit disappointed with that one. We then go to Coventry's home kit. Of course, Coventry released a teaser last week of what their kit was going to be like. We only saw the sponsor pretty much in the top half of their kit. Cheeky of Coventry to do that because they completely threw everyone off with this kit design. Wow, is all I've got to say when I look at it. It looks a little bit weird. It looks like a sensible, safe artist has just done the top half, and then a complicated minimalist artist has just done the bottom half, trying to do all fancy patterns. But I actually really like it. I like the blend, I like the contrast, and I think with the bottom half of it, I think it looks nice. I think it does give the sky blue vibe that Coventry are supposed to have with their kits. With this kit, I like the black collar line, I like the black tips at the side of it. Like the sponsor, it actually fits in because there's not a load of designs going on with it. I am actually a big fan of this kit. Not quite my favourite so far with the Bournemouth kit, but very close, 8.5 out of 10. We then go to Derby's kit, another Umbro kit. Definitely one of the more simplistic kits in every Championship club's home kit. But honestly, sometimes playing it simple is a little bit more effective, and I think that's what Derby have done here. I like the 32 red sponsor. I actually think it really fits in well. It's got Umbro and the Derby badge there. I like the black lines they have at the tips of the sleeve line. I actually really like that. I think that's a good effect to have. They've also got a half black strip that they have down there in the collar line, which actually looks a bit unique, and I'm not too sure about it. Maybe it would have been a bit better if they had a line throughout the whole collar line, but I actually really like the look of this kit. The thing is, maybe there needed to be a little bit more going on, because I think most of that kit is just 32 red, and that's it. If there was just a little bit more design, just to, you know, make it a little bit more unique. But apart from that, I can't fault it too much. Not quite Coventry's level of unique, but a pretty good job regardless. I'll say a good 8 out of 10. We now go to Huddersfield's home kit. Another simple design by Umbro, but I really like this design. And I think what really helps with Huddersfield is that they've got the contrasting blue and white colours. The fact they've got that, and they've got 3 clean stripes in the front end of the shirt, looks really nice, and no sponsor, which is a surprise. It's definitely a hint back to the olden days where they didn't have sponsors on their shirts, which I am a big fan of. It's definitely not one of the most interesting kits, but definitely one of the more effective kits. I'll give this one an 8.5 out of 10. We now go to Luton's kit. Now, I am so stumped on what I think about this Luton kit, because when I first looked at it, I was a big fan of it. I love the ripple design that they have in the middle of their shirt. I like how the sponsor fits in. However, I'm not too sure if I'm a big fan of the colour of their collar line. It looks a little bit of a dark blue, which I don't know why they've had that in there. And the thing is, some people like the different coloured tips of the shirt, but for me, I'm like, why? Why do you need a different colour for each sleeve? You know, I don't think it's needed, and if anything, it looks a little bit odd. It's like having odd coloured socks when you've got a red sock or a blue sock. It just doesn't look right. Honestly, it's a pretty solid kit, but it's only for change of colours in the sleeves and that blue in the collar, which I'm not a huge fan of. But overall, Luton's kit does the job pretty well. I'll say 7 out of 10. Not one of the worst, but definitely not one of the best kits. Now we go to Middlesbrough's home kit, and this is another kit I'm really unsure what I think about it, because I've been looking at this kit so many times. It's another Hummel kit. I loved it first, but I'm starting to grow out of it, and the big reason why is the 32 red sponsor. I think the fact it's also black, it just ruins it. And you know what? You know, even if it would have been red, I think it would have even looked really worse. So I think they couldn't have done a bit more with trying to make 32 red fit in. But for me, putting it in the white stripe, you know, it really pushes out the sponsor, but it really diverts the distraction from the rest of the kit, which I really don't like about it. Overall, not one of my favourites. I'll say 6.5 out of 10, but that is a big contribution because of a 32 red sponsor, unfortunately. We now go to Millwall's home kit, and I would say, hand on heart, definitely in contention to being one of my favourite home kits. I mean, just look at it. I like the collar line. I like how they've got the dark blue line in between the white collar. I actually think that looks really nice, but I'm a huge fan of the pattern. I absolutely love it. And do you know what's even better? The Husky chocolate sponsor fits in almost spectacularly to it. I'll say close to perfection. I'd say 9.5 out of 10. I mean it. Probably one of my favourite kits. We now go to Norwich's home kit, and I think they've toned it down a little bit this year. I do like the sponsor. The only thing is, why black on yellow? It's not Borussia Dortmund. I do like the bits of green they have. It really feels like a Norwich shirt when they have that. Definitely not one of the worst kits on this list, but I wouldn't say it's one of my favourites, unfortunately. I'll say it's about average. I'll say 7 out of 10. Pretty solid, but not in my favourite category. We then go to Nottingham Forest's home kit. It looks really similar to the one that they had last year with the designs they've got. What? That's Queen's Park Rangers' away kit? It looks exactly the same. Well, there's been a little bit of copyright right there. And you know I'm not a big fan of it. The kit looks very similar to the one that they had last year, and I'm talking about Nottingham Forest, not to be confused with Queen's Park Rangers. I like the design they've got on the tips of their sleeves. The collar I'm a big fan of as well. The sponsor I think fits in quite well. I wish there was probably a little bit more elaborate patterns on the shirt overall. Overall, with both kits, I'm going to say, gosh, I wish there was more going on. I'm going to say 6 out of 10. Bit frustrating. If there was just a little bit more, they both would have got a higher grade. I'll say 6 out of 10. But moving away from that confusion, we've now got Preston's home kit. And this is going to split opinion, but I'm not a big fan. When I look at this kit, I just think of a milk bottle for some bizarre reason. I know Preston have got a little bit of a red colour scheme with their shirts, which is probably why they've had the sponsor in a red font, but for me, it looks weird. I actually would have preferred they probably had it in the dark blue than they had in their sleeve lines. I actually think that would have looked a little bit better. The sleeves are alright, but in terms of the collar, it's a little bit bland. Overall, I'd say it's a kit bordering on bland, but also not a big fan of the font. So, one of the worst ones, I'll say 5.5 out of 10. I'm a little bit disappointed with that one. But Preston fans, if this makes you feel a little bit better, I am a much bigger fan of your away and your third kit. We then go to Queen's Park Rangers' home shirt. I don't know what they were going for here, but I don't like it all that much if I'm going to be honest. I think it's also the red to white font once again. And for me, I feel like that only works if you only have a red and white kit. It doesn't normally work. I was a big fan of this shirt last year. I thought it was one of the better ones. But this year, I'm not really feeling this one. Unfortunately, I think I might just have to give this one a 4 out of 10. A little bit disappointing, you know. The fact that the sponsor's not in a really good font either, I think that's just completely made things a little bit worse. I'm sorry, Queen's Park Rangers fans. We now go to Reading's home kit. Now, I have to say, near perfect. Near perfect for me. I'm a big fan of the design they have in the collar and the tips of their sleeves. The white, blue, red, white effect, I actually think that looks really, really nice on Reading. The only one thing I'm not a big fan of is their sponsor. Now, you could say it fits in quite well with it being a white stripe, but when I look at it, it doesn't look like that the colour of the font completely matches with the blue font that they have. It could just be me, but for me, that looks really, really bizarre. It looks like you're trying to add another colour into it, just trying to blend things together, and it just doesn't look right. I felt if they actually made it the proper font and the proper shade of blue of Reading's stripe, I actually think that would be in contention to being one of the best kits in the league. But just from that alone, unfortunately, I will have to mark it down a little bit, but a pretty respectable 7.5 out of 10 for me. We then go to Rotherham's home kit, and I do have to say, I'm a big fan of this one actually. I think the sponsor actually fits in pretty well with the design. Going with the design, it's a bit unique. It's a little bit diagonal, a little bit similar to Birmingham's, but the lines are a little bit more spaced out. It's more incremental, which actually makes it look a little bit more different, but a little bit more modern. Apart from the shoulder lines, I like it. I'll say 8 out of 10. We then go to Sheffield Wednesday's kit. They had one of my favourite kits last year. This year, not as great, but I would say it's not one of their worst kits. I could see where they were going for with the design. If you look at the blue design, they've got a little bit of a gradient, but yet somewhat camouflage effect in terms of their stripes. I actually do think it's a little bit unique and actually a little bit risky for them to do this sort of design. It's quite unique, as I'll say, which is why they're getting extra points for it. With the black tips of the sleeves and the black collar, I'd say 7 out of 10, a bit of an average score for me. 7 out of 10 for me is practically average, half good, half bad. We then go to Stoke City's home kit, and I won't lie, I'm not a fan of the sponsor. I'm not a fan of the Bet365. I knew Stoke were going to do it, and they always do with their home kits, but it just doesn't fit with the stripes. It just doesn't, and they could do whatever they can, but I don't think they can, unfortunately. It's another Macron kit. What I do like though is when they have their white stripes, they have tiny thin red stripes. I actually think it adds a little bit of a unique pattern to it. They've done something quite similar with the collar as well. I do like the white, red, white combination. I think that looks really, really nice on them. They've done the same thing with the tips of their sleeves as well, which does add a little bit of more cleanness and a little bit of an identity to the kit. It's literally just the sponsor that really ruins it. If that wasn't there and this was like a Huddersfield kit, it'd be definitely one of the better kits in the league. Gosh, I'm just looking at that sponsor and just thinking, if you weren't there, this would have been 9. But the fact it's there, it's gone all the way down to 6.5 out of 10. I'm sorry. The sponsor ruins it for me. You know, some people can look past the sponsors and say, look, it looks quite nice, but for me in this case, it just puts me off a little bit too much for me to look at the kit and appreciate the design. So looking at it as a viewer, 6.5 out of 10, unfortunately. We've now go to Swansea's home kit, and they are the only championship club that has Ugon as their kit company, and I have to say, I'm a huge fan of this kit. I am absolutely loving it. I wish Chelsea had this sort of design on their kit if they can. What I really like, I like the contrast between the black and the white. And you've got to look at the unique design. It's a little bit of a pattern dotted effect, really heavy down, but just gradually waving away and just really fading out. I actually really like it. It's unique, it's different, it's out there. And the fact that they've got that design on the tips of their sleeves as well, I actually think is a really brave decision, but I think a decision worth taking. Overall, one of my favourites with Millwall, 9.5 out of 10. I'm a big fan of it. Then we go to probably the most controversial kit of that entire list, Watford's. Definitely going to be a Marmite kit, this one. You either love it or you hate it. If you knew me, I love Marmite, and I also love this kit. I am a big fan of it. I love the design of it. The black stripes really makes it stand out. A little bit similar to Hull's design that they had last year, but I'm a huge fan of this kit. I think Watford definitely pulled it off a little bit better. They had a similar design when they were in the Premier League. I think it was a 2016-17 season where it was vertical black stripes, but they've got it more diagonal and it looks a little bit more terrifying. You know, it looks a lot more intimidating. It really stands out. They've got Kelmus as kit sponsor, and actually I'm a big fan of how the badge fits in. I think the sponsor also fits in really nicely with effects. It would have got better if they just hadn't have stopped the design on the badge. One of my favourites, probably not in my top 2, but definitely up there with Bournemouth's kit. 9 out of 10 for me. And then we go to the final home kit, Wickham, and oh dear, I'm not a fan of this kit at all. The Dream sponsor does not help one bit. Of course, the Dreams logo has that pink tick on it. Why it's there on a blue and dark blue kit, I'm not too sure. It just doesn't look natural at all. I can see where Wickham were going for with a sort of bed design that they tried to make it linking to their sponsor a little bit. It literally looks like a tape measure trying to split the corners. It just looks really weird. If it was a solid line, I actually think that would look better. It was a shame because I was a big fan of their kit last year, but this year, not a fan. I would actually say probably my least favourite home kit, unfortunately. I think for me, it'll be 3.5 out of 10, unfortunately. Not a big fan of this kit. So, overall, my favourite kit, I think, will have to be between Millwall and Swansea's. Gosh, which one would I prefer? I think I'm going to edge Millwall's as my favourite kit because I do like the colour scheme of dark blue and white, but Swansea's kit is a very close second. I would also put Watford's kit and Bournemouth's kit up there as well because I really am a big fan of their kits. I would also put Coventry's kit in my top 5 as well. In terms of the worst kit, unfortunately, it just has to be Wickham, although Queen's Park Rangers was a little bit close there. You know, I was a bit disappointed with their kit, but Wickham's kit for me is definitely the worst home kit this year. Remember, guys, this was just a little bit of fun. I'm no fashion expert, as you can tell by my attire, but this was just a little bit of fun, just going through all the kits revealed. Practically all of them have been revealed apart from Bristol City's. When I cover the away kits, hopefully by then Bristol City will announce their home kit, which I'm assuming is going to be a red kit. So hoping that they do, I'll cover Bristol City's home kit when I grade every single Championship team's away kit, so that's what I'll do. But that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as we can, so I could do a collaboration with BenHD. So if you haven't done and you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel. It would really make my day. A subscriber does make a huge difference. And if you have done, please share my channel to either YouTube channels, comments, sharing the links to comments, you know, social medias. All of that would really make my day. And obviously, if you want to shout out like what Ruben Ward had, send me a screenshot on even on my Twitter or my Instagram. They're both in the description down below. And immediately, I'll shout you out. And if you tell me your YouTube channel as well with that screenshot, I'll most definitely subscribe to you. Even if you don't release any content, just a bit of recognition that you are getting my name out there, I'll give you a subscription. But that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you've seen the end of this video. And as always, take care, guys.